What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of MacBook Flip or Flop. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the submissions that you guys have put on my subreddit. So we've got two different options here. So let's take a look at this. This listing has already ended. It ended a day ago. But we can still look at the listing, and now we know how much it sold for. Okay, so both of the listings that I have today are 17-inch MacBook Pros. So this first one is, it looks like this is a late 2011. We've got the box. A lot of good original stuff in here. We got an upgraded processor, 4 gigs of RAM. That's not too bad. On the outside, this thing looks pretty good. It's got what looks like a brand new battery with 6 cycles on it. And a 250 gigabyte hard drive. So that's not the original hard drive. This is a late 2011. That would have come with at least a 500. This model might have been the 750, I'm not sure. But certainly not a 250 gig hard drive. So let's go down and take a look at the description. So we've got a 2.4 gigahertz Core i7, 4 gigs of RAM, 1600 megahertz. That means that they put in upgraded memory. 250 gig hard drive. We've got the serial number here. 17-inch late 2011. Takes too long to load. And it acts really slow. Sometimes, however, it acts like nothing's wrong with it. Selling as is for parts or repair. This is an interesting listing, and there's a couple of reasons why. So, as you can see with the listing here, the submitter Lando Beats says that it seems too good to be true. Wonder if there's something not being told, or they don't know what they are doing. Should I pull the trigger? So, as I commented here, this is a little bit tricky because there's a couple things that could be wrong with this. Now, my personal hunch would be that we've got a failing or a really slow old hard drive. That's pretty common. This is a 250 gig drive, so this is probably pulled out of an older MacBook, like a 2010 era MacBook, and those have a tendency to go bad. Those are about 8 years old at this point. 250 gig hard drives aren't really, it's hard to find those new because it's such a weird capacity. Those are usually older drives. So my guess would be that this thing had a dying hard drive. However, I'm hesitant on something like this because, first of all, this sold for $500, which isn't terrible considering that it works, but if you were going to flip this, you wouldn't have too much room. So what you would need to do, you need to upgrade the RAM because 4 gigabytes isn't enough for a computer like this if you're trying to get good money for it. Additionally, you'd need to put a hard drive in it, probably just stick a 1 terabyte in it. That would be fine for flipping this thing. But that's going to add another $100, $150 to this purchase price. So you'd be in this thing for $650. That's a little bit high. You're going to find it hard to flip that and make much money. You'd have better luck with a cheaper 15-inch model than going with the 17-inch, even though the 17s are very desirable. Also, we can't forget that this is a late 2011, so the slowness could be down to potential graphics card failure. I had a friend who was flipping a 15-inch 2011, and the graphics card died on us, so obviously we did not sell that for, as a functioning laptop. It was kind of a weird situation where it was working about 80% of the time. So we just sold that as a dead GPU, and we didn't lose any money on that purchase. But on something like this for $500, if it is a dead graphics card, you might be out a lot of money. So I would stay away from something like this. Alright, so here we have our next listing. And this one isn't so much one that I would flip. It's just something that I want to make you guys aware of, because this is a really bad listing. So first of all, it's free shipping, which is nice, but it's $550, and that's pretty high. So this is the same specs, except we've got a better hard drive. That's probably the original drive, though. I'm a little perplexed by the inclusion of a gaming laptop in the title. No, it's not. That's stupid. So let's go through the pictures. So we've got an anti-glare display. If you look up here, looks like we got some issues with the cosmetics of this device. And in fact, I see another one down there. The palm rest is pretty shiny. That's not that big a deal. Okay. Okay, so 4 gigabytes of 1067 megahertz DDR3. That's very strange. The 2011s shipped with 1333 megahertz. The last listing we looked at was upgraded to 1600 megahertz. That was standard in the 2012. But 1067, that's 2010 MacBook Pro. That RAM was pulled from a 2010 MacBook Pro. That's not good. So we've got our graphics card is showing up. That's good. That's obvious. And oh no. Oh, I always hate when I see that stuff. We've got some pretty significant body damage. Let's keep looking. Oh yeah, that's another giant gouge. And it looks like that Ethernet port is not really going to be usable. That's way too bent. And it just looks terrible. So sure, this computer might work, and sure, it might be less expensive than other 17 inches, which happen to be very, very expensive. However, I would stay away from this computer at all costs, because with that kind of physical damage, the resale value on this computer is going to be very low. It's going to be very, very tricky to find someone willing to buy this laptop. So I can already guess that this has been on here for quite a while. Looking at the description, pretty standard. Original charger, runs great and has been tested. That's interesting that they say all ports work. I highly doubt that the Ethernet port is going to work just because of the physical deformation. No, it's not in good condition. People say this a lot. It's in good condition besides the dents. I'm like, that's not a good thing to put in your description. If you've got a gigantic frame-bending piece of damage on 2 corners of your laptop, it's not in good condition. End of story. So, is this a flip or a flop? Well, it's definitely a flop. This computer could be worth a good bit of money. This is the very desirable late 2011. You know, it's got the highest specs. You would have to put more RAM and a better hard drive in this thing. And you'd also have to replace the top case. There's no way that I could in good conscience sell this machine with that kind of damage in it. So already you'd be in at another 150 gigabytes, or wow, $150 to put 8 gigs of RAM in a 1 terabyte hard drive. Maybe $100 if you're a good bargain hunter. And you'd probably have to buy another top case, which would be pretty expensive depending on where you find it. So let's say $75. So already you're almost at $700. That's not worth it. I'd stay away from this. So is this worth the price? I would say no, it is not. I don't think that is a good idea. That one gets a flop. Actually, they both get a flop. So that's 2 flops. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you see any interesting listings, make sure to put them on my subreddit. I will be making videos on them regularly. I check this all the time, and I will catch you guys in the next video.